Hello there, Lunar Squadron, and welcome back to the channel. Unless you've been living under a rock, you all know by now that for the last few months, we have been getting so much brand new coverage for Marvel Spider-Man 2, from a gameplay reveal trailer a couple months ago to the most recent story trailer just a few weeks ago. But what you might not know or have realized is the fact that these trailers are performing at historical rates and have historical trends behind them that could possibly mean huge things for the Spider-Man franchise going forward, and possibly even bigger things. And in this video, we're going to break down all of this exciting information for you. But first, if you're new to the channel, we would love to have you as always. And the way to do that, just go down below this video, hit that little subscribe button, the bell notification right on next to it. It will notify you every single time that Andreas and I upload. Also, if you've not yet joined our Discord server, we would love to have you join that. Link to join will be down below in the description. It's a great place for us to get to know you better, you to get to know us better. We have so many great people in there that talk about all kinds of different topics. A huge and growing Marvel Spider-Man 2 community in there. It really is a great time. So you should consider joining. Again, link to join that will be down below in the description. Now with that out of the way, Andreas, are you ready to talk about the historic franchise that is Marvel Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, let's do this, guys.
What I really want to focus in here on is the historic performance of both the gameplay reveal trailer from 2 months ago and the most recent story trailer from 2 weeks ago. If you take a look through PlayStation's YouTube channel, the gameplay reveal trailer from 2 months ago is already the 18th most popular video that PlayStation has ever released, which is absolutely insane for a channel that has been around for 18 years, for a channel that has put forth videos on some of the most popular games of all time. To see a gameplay reveal trailer from 2 months ago already be the 18th most popular video is absolutely crazy. But what's even crazier, Andreas, is the fact that the story trailer from 2 weeks ago is already PlayStation's 24th most popular video. It is more popular than trailers and reveals for games such as Horizon Forbidden West. It is more popular than Miles Morales, Uncharted 4. Like, this, after 2 weeks, is already more popular than some of the heaviest hitters that PlayStation has ever released. This is a huge deal for this franchise. In fact, if you take a look at the most popular videos that PlayStation has ever released, 3 of the top 6 belong to the Marvel Spider-Man franchise, with the Marvel Spider-Man 2 reveal trailer coming in 5th. And if you take the top 2 videos out, which are about hardware, both that being the PlayStation 4 reveal and the PS5 reveal, Marvel Spider-Man makes up 3 of the top 4. The only game that has a more popular trailer is the official reveal trailer for Hogwarts Legacy, but that is a third-party title that is on multiple different platforms. In terms of first-party titles on Sony on PlayStation, it is pretty clear from these trailers. Now, of course, just a quick side note here, trailers, of course, are not the end-all, be-all in terms of popularity. However, when it comes to games, we don't get that real-time data. We don't get a constant updating box office number like we do for films. We get updated sales numbers every couple months if we're lucky from these studios and these publishers. We don't get that real-time data. So really, the best way we can judge the overall popularity of a game is most likely from the way that its trailers perform on the various platforms that these studios publishes them on. And it is pretty clear that the Marvel Spider-Man franchise is the most popular first-party franchise that Sony has. And Andres, why is this important? Well, it's important for multiple different reasons. First off, it is most likely going to be the case that Marvel Spider-Man 2, at minimum, is the best-selling and best-performing game that is released on PS5, at least in terms of first-party exclusives. But most likely, it is going to be, for the foreseeable future, the best-selling game on PS5. If we had to guess based off of the data and the sales we know now, God of War Ragnarok probably currently holds that crown. While it looks like Hogwarts Legacy might have outsold God of War Ragnarok, you have to remember that that game was released on multiple different platforms, and we don't know the breakdown of that, but we do know for a fact that all of the Ragnarok sales have occurred on PS5. So it's not a stretch to assume that Ragnarok is the current leader in the clubhouse in terms of sales on PS5. But if you look at the way these Marvel Spider-Man 2 trailers are performing, it is blowing the doors off of God of War Ragnarok, off Uncharted, off of The Last of Us, off of all of these heavy hitters from Sony. So it is not a stretch to extrapolate that Marvel Spider-Man 2 is going to be the best-selling franchise or best-selling game on PS5 for the foreseeable future, unless really the only game that could probably take its crown one day is a title like GTA 6 if that releases this generation. It's going to take a game of that scale to take down Marvel Spider-Man 2. And not only that, Andreas, but we saw a similar performance on PS4.
Yeah, we did. If you actually do look at the PS4 sales metrics, which, like you said, Nick, we aren't 100% sure how accurate these figures are to date because we do not get that live like box office mojo. There is no source like that, and so a lot of these are compiled, and so we are forced to use sources like Wikipedia, which we love to double check and make sure that those things are accurate. But if you look at the Wikipedia list, and they have ranked all of the different best-selling games on PS4, the highest selling game on that list is Marvel's Spider-Man with 20 million units, and that game did release in 2018, in September of 2018. And the only game that came anywhere close to that 20 million unit number was God of War. God of War, of course, selling 19.5 million units. And while Ragnarok has not quite captured the lightning in the bottle that God of War did capture, I think we're going to see a reverse trend when it comes to Spider-Man to Spider-Man 2 because, again, Nick, like you said, these view counts are very informative. And if you're comparing Ragnarok to Spider-Man 2's reveal trailers, which came out on the same exact day, those almost 2 years ago, September of 2021 at the PlayStation 2021 Showcase, that God of War Ragnarok trailer is currently sitting at 19 million views. The Spider-Man 2 reveal trailer is sitting at 29 million views. That is 10 million views more than God of War Ragnarok, which is just insane to think of. It makes you think that this Spider-Man 2 game really could be in a league of its own. And that's not just looking at PS5 exclusives, because if you're comparing Marvel Spider-Man 2's reveal trailer to even trailers such as, let's look at Nintendo, where you have Breath of the Wild, one of its best-selling games. Breath of the Wild, 6 years ago, guys, 6 years ago, the Breath of the Wild presentation trailer came out. That trailer has the same amount of views as the Spider-Man 2 release trailer, which that reveal trailer, like I said, is 2 years ago. So Breath of the Wild has had 4 more years to get views than Spider-Man 2's reveal trailer, and it has the same amount of views. And of course, Breath of the Wild is one of the best-selling games of all time, period, let alone Nintendo. And I don't even want to begin comparing this with Xbox exclusives because, Nick, that's not even fair.
No, it's really not. And if you look at even the more recent exclusives on the various different platforms, if you look at Tears of the Kingdom, the story trailer alone that came out 2 weeks ago has performed just as well, if not better, than every single Tears of the Kingdom trailer after just 2 weeks. If you go look at Xbox's big upcoming exclusive, Starfield, these 2 trailers are blowing the doors off of the Starfield trailers. Like, it's not particularly close across the other platforms. Now, you guys might be wondering, Lunar Squadron, why should we care about these sales numbers? Why should we care about these trailer numbers? Like, why does any of this matter? And the reason this matters is because we believe this means huge things for this franchise going forward. It is clear that Marvel Spider-Man, this franchise, is the moneymaker for Sony, for PlayStation. Spider-Man is driving the PlayStation game catalog. And I think that this means we could be looking at maybe not just a Marvel Spider-Man 2, maybe not even just a Marvel Spider-Man 3. Would Sony perhaps invest further into this franchise over the next 10 to 15 years? Could we be looking at perhaps 4, maybe 5 Marvel Spider-Man games? Could we be looking at more Miles Morales games, a second Miles Morales game, a third Miles Morales game? Like, could we see spin-offs from these Marvel Spider-Man games? Could this be something that galvanizes Sony and maybe even Insomniac to invest in other Marvel IP? Now, of course, we know Marvel's Wolverine is coming. That is most likely a product of how popular Marvel Spider-Man was. Like, I think there's a reason that Insomniac was given a Wolverine game to do. I don't think it's a coincidence that Insomniac is working on that. Now, will Wolverine be as popular as Spider-Man? Probably not, because Spider-Man is one of the most popular IP ever released. Like, Spider-Man just simply sells. You go look at the No Way Home box office, that performed incredibly well. Like, that was an absolute success out of Sony and the MCU. It's probably not going to be as popular as that, but seeing how popular these Marvel hero games are going to be, does this galvanize Sony and Insomniac to invest in other Marvel IP to make games, to maybe invest in a gaming cinematic universe where Insomniac and Sony have this huge overlapping Marvel? Like, I think the possibilities are endless for this franchise because of how clearly successful it is. So I think this is something that Marvel Spider-Man and Spider-Man fans across the world should be incredibly excited about, because these franchises are successful, and these studios and these publishers always reward studios and franchises that are successful. So at the end of the day, I don't think Marvel Spider-Man 2 or even a third game is anywhere near the end of the story. I don't think we're anywhere close to this. I think we have years and years and just a huge future to look forward to when it comes to this franchise and other Marvel heroes. And I'm willing to bet that Marvel's Wolverine gets a huge boost from how popular and successful and probably how good Marvel Spider-Man 2 is going to be. Like, I think we are just getting started with these heroes, with this franchise. I think this is something that all of you should be incredibly excited about and should continue to support, because I think Sony's going to have our backs and they're going to support it too.
I completely agree, Nick. And when you factor in just the incredible trajectory of these games, along with the amazing trajectory of the PS5 console in general, the PS5, of course, doing great on the market, selling numbers, gobbling up market share, especially when you're looking at its relation to Xbox. I think this is really going to be something that sets historic numbers and benchmarks for Sony. I think it's going to be a driver for Sony and continue to be a driver for Sony, where, you know, we might have seen in the past that Gran Turismo held that torch, then it was passed to God of War. I think it's going to be a new era of Spider-Man where we are, like you said, Nick, going to see so many different Spider-Man projects and maybe even expand into the broader MCU. And that said, guys, let us know in the comments down below, how many Spider-Man games do you think we will end up getting? How do you think this franchise is going to do going forward? And if it were to expand into other games beyond Wolverine, into the broader MCU, where would you like to see Insomniac go next? Let us know in the comments down below. We would love to hear from you there. But that's going to do it for this conversation. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, we will see you all next time.